All right, so let me ask you this. You speak to 100 for rent by owners, okay? How many of those do you feel would
Mhm.
turn into an appointment?
I'm getting a lot of appointments from them. It eventually ends up turning into something eventually, even if it's just one of my investor buyers buying their property. So I have a lot of transactions. And then when they fix it up to flip it, I then, list it on the market for retail.
That's good stuff, right? So I mean, because I think the interesting part, what people don't realize about for rent by owners, is that you're not looking at you can look in multiple transactions on one transaction. Is that right?
Absolutely. I have investors that buy 5, 6 properties a year with me. And, some of them may be flips. So we'll go ahead and I'll get them on the other end as well. Some people are just looking for rental properties, so I'll help
Sure.
them establish a good portfolio. Yeah, it's always repeat business. You just got to do a good job for these guys. If you do a good job, they're going to keep using you over and over and over.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Aaron Wittenstein, and we are here with Vulcan7 Roadmap. And the intention here is to talk to agents across the country, in particular my buddy Tim Dominick over here in the wonderful Maryland, on how to get 2, 3, 4, 500 more listings a month or a week. And my friend, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Aaron. How are you?
I'm doing well. So business good, I hope?
Absolutely. It's on its way up year after year. So I'm feeling good. Business has not seen any decline at all for me. So
Really? So
wonderful.
what do we? You say business says up every year. That's what I
Mhm.
like to hear. You guys are looking pretty solid, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing more transactions this year than I did last year.
That's absolutely amazing, man. That's absolutely amazing. So I got to ask then: is where in particular is the majority of your business coming from?
Yeah, so the first couple years in business, I was building my pipeline, and then year 3 it exploded with pipeline maturity. And it all came from honestly, someone turned me on to Vulcan 7. They said, "Look, if you're going to do it at the highest quality possible." I started with Vulcan 7, started making calls to expired and cancels like everyone else. But another pillar that I added early on was for rent by owners, and I
Huh.
built a big investor pillar. 40% of my business comes from repeat investors, and I deal with a lot. I'm known as like a prominent investors agent here in Baltimore. But I would say another 25% comes from expired and canceled listings as well. I've gotten really good on the phone. Yeah, so just expired, cancel, for rent by owner. I do a little for sale by owner, but I run my business very lean. I pay for the Vulcan 7 system. But outside of that, I mean, everything I do is you can essentially do for free.
All right, so let me take this back a second because a lot of people talk. I want to work FRBO, yeah, FRBO, right? FRBO is that what short for? Am I right?
Yeah,
You call
yeah,
it
you
FRBO,
got
it's
it.
for rent
Yeah,
by
that's
owner.
good.
Whatever it is. A lot of people want to work for rent by owners. Okay, so would you be open to kind of walking me through that process a little bit because I don't know a lot of people that have seen the success you do.
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to walk you through from the first phone call, how that looks?
Yeah, we got nothing
Absolutely.
better to do. Let's do it.
Perfect. All right, so ring ring.
Hello.
Hey, Aaron, this is Tim Dominick, and I know this call is a little out of the blue. I'm with Coldwell Banker Realty. Just curious, is this the absolute worst time to call you right now?
No.
Again, I know this out the blue. I just passed by a property that you own here at 123 Main Street. I know that you have it up for rent right now. Did you already get that? I mean, is it already occupied, or are you still looking for a tenant?
No, we do not have it occupied right now. We just put it up on the market like what 2, 3 days ago, something like that. Do you have somebody that's looking to rent it out?
To be totally transparent, Aaron, I'm a realtor here, and I'm also an investor. I don't deal with the tenants and placing them at all. Actually, I was just thinking outside the box a little bit. Just curious to see if you would even entertain selling that property if it made financial sense for you at this time.
I mean, it's we bought this property initially, so when we got married, okay, and we moved to a bigger house right now. We've been making like a couple hundred. What are we making? What are we making? Like $300 a month or something off it right now. So I mean, it's a decent investment. I mean, how much do you think it's worth?
So I know you said it's vacant. Have you already rented this before, or is that something you're just kind of thinking you'll make when you do get it rented?
No, this would be our third tenant in 3 years.
Okay. Okay, so you're already subject to capital gains. We know that much. Honestly, I don't want to shoot you a price right off the cuff. I think that would be a silly mistake if I'm wrong. A lot of people may do that. I'd like to take more of an appraiser approach, and really take a look at the comps here and send you over what I think it would sell for in today's market. If you'd be open to that, then maybe we could have a further discussion down the road. I'm not asking you to commit to anything right now, but if you're open to that, I'd like to get your email address and put together some comps and shoot you over about what it would go for. And then maybe we can meet at the property if that's looking like it's kind of making sense to you based off the email I send, the information that you get.
Yeah, that's fair. My email is Tim Dominick at gmail.com. So yeah, feel free to shoot that information over. That'd be great. Thank you.
And then that's it. And basically I start building rapport from there. I don't try to push them into meeting at a property they intend to rent right away, especially you being you said you were a seasoned investor, not seasoned, but you've had 3 tenants. So I'm not going to try to talk you out of something you've been doing for a while here. I'm going to send you over information what I think it would sell for. I'm going to send you over a market performance report so you can see exactly how fast it would sell in today's market and what that process would look like. It might not even be the right time now. Like I told you, it took me a couple years for this pipeline to really mature and explode. But the other thing I just did, Aaron, is I got a potential off-market sale for another investor buyer that may be looking to buy in the Baltimore area right there that no one even knows about.
You know what I love that you did right there, which I don't even know if the capital gain statement, you said that so passively, but in such a way to plant a seed where it was slick. I love the way it was. So you're subject to capital gains. But next question, please. So that was really slick the way you did that right there.
I'll tell you why I said that. If you would have said you never rented it yet, I'd say, listen, here's the thing. Capital gains in Maryland just got raised to 21% this year. It was 20% last year. Why don't we look at what it would look like to sell this property before you lose 21% of your net proceeds? Because as soon as you collect a rental check or you deposit a rental check, that's it. You're subject to capital gains.
Yeah, that makes, I mean, and it's nice to hear when I'm speaking with you. Keep in mind, I speak with a lot of agents. I role play with a lot of agents. Your calmness about the way that you ran that phone call was very impressive. Tell me if I'm wrong. You don't get a lot of objections in that type of phone call, do you?
No, very rarely.
Yeah, and it was very, I don't want to say slick. The right word isn't slick. It was very efficient. It was a very efficient phone call. It was extremely efficient. You got to the point. You got the lead. You email them. So tell me, what's the next step look like?
Yep. So I'm going to pull that information for them. So at night times when I do my CMAs, I'm not going to do them now. I'm going to continue with my phone call sessions. Nighttime when I get a break, I'm going to go ahead and pull those CMAs. Just a quick CMA. I became really fast at it. I've done a lot of BPOs for banks and stuff like that. So they're a lot more intricate and extensive than a CMA. So if you can knock them out, you can knock a CMA out in a few minutes. So I'll knock that out quick and I'll just shoot that on over to them that night or the next morning before I get started on my next call sessions. And, I'll follow up between 11 and 12 and just ask them, hey, did you get the information I sent over? What do you think? When could we meet? Those type of follow-up questions.
All right. So let me ask you this. You speak to 100 for rent by owners. Okay. How many of those do you feel would turn into an appointment?
Like an immediate appointment, not pipeline.
Yeah, yes. I mean, an immediate appointment, you send out the information, you get back in touch with them. What percentage will become an immediate appointment?
Well, I would say right around 1% to 2%. Could be a little closer. It depends on the time of the year and all that. All those factors matter when it comes to dealing with investors because of taxes and things like that. But down the road, I'm getting a lot of appointments from them. It eventually ends up turning into something eventually, even if it's just one of my investor buyers buying their property and we never even do it on the market. So I have a lot of transactions I never even get credit for because we do them completely off market. And my buyers love it because they have exclusivity to the property. And then when they fix it up to flip it, I then, list it on the market for retail.
That's good stuff, right? So I mean, because I think the interesting part, what people don't realize about for rent by owners, is that you're not looking at you can look in multiple transactions on one transaction. Is that right?
Absolutely. I have investors that buy 5-6 properties a year with me, and some of them may be flips. So we'll go ahead and I'll get them on the other end as well. So it really just depends. Some people are just looking for rental properties, so I'll help them establish a good portfolio and things like that. But yeah, it's always repeat business. You just got to do a good job for these guys. If you do a good job, they're going to keep using you over and over and over.
So one more question about this. Out of the amount of people you speak with, are a lot of them tend to be seasoned investors, or do some of them tend to just be like Johnny one-shot investor type of person?
Most of the guys I end up on the phone with here, at least here in Baltimore, is they're usually not real seasoned, but at least have some investor experience. That's at some level or some degree.
God, oh, that's great, man. Like I said, it's a great source of business, and hope anybody who's watching this realizes this is untapped potential. And what Timothy is doing here is extremely successful. And I'm going to venture to guess there's not as much competition on this form of lead generation. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, very rarely do they say someone's called them. They ask them to sell their property.
All right. So, let's flip this around a second then. Okay. So, from what it seems to me, is you're lead generating at a very high level. Okay. What time are you starting in the morning picking up the calls? How many hours are you calling a day? What does your lead calls look like? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Typically, I'm starting at, well, I'm going to say like 7:59. I know that that's kind of on the fence, but what I'll do is I'll organize my leads in such a way I'm almost like a sniper. We can get more into that. Like I don't just let them go into the dialer and then start dialing, because at some reason in my head, I think everybody's starting with the same lead and running it through the same list. So
Right.
I'll reorganize them to the ones that I know I can easily convert first, and I'll hit them before anyone else that's starting at 8 a.m. as well. And I typically call for about 3 hours, and then I hop on follow-ups.
Got it. So, all right. I mean, do you have any order? Let me
Yeah,
stop 1 second here.
yeah,
The sniper tactic. You knew I was going to come
yeah.
back to that one in a second. Tell me more about that. What does that look like?
So if I see a property that's close to, or it's on a block that maybe I have a property already for sale on or something like that, I'm going to put that at top priority. So I'm going to take that from maybe the 10th lead that's in my dialer at that point, and I'm going to move it to number one. And I know everyone else is just typically exporting them or importing them into the dialer, and they're starting from the first lead that's in Vulcan7's dialer, where I'll reorganize the leads and start from, have my own list, my own, just my own order. So that way I know that I'm the first one calling the ones that I really want to take. And they're not getting 5 phone calls at the same time. So it's more like a sniper. Like I'm not just spraying a shotgun and trying to hit somebody. I'm really sniping these people out.
No, that's a smart play right there. That really is. I'm officially using that. Is that okay with you? I won't say it's mine. I'll say it's the Timothy Dominick's sniper system is the best I'm going to call it going forward. But that's a really, really good idea. I like that. I really do. And then all right, so you're calling what, expireds first? Is that the plan?
Yeah, you got to call the new expireds first, because they're the lowest hanging fruit and they're going to get hammered. So yeah, you want to get on the phone with them first.
Then number two is, I'll take a guess, but you
Yep.
go.
So I do the new expired list right away. Then I'll rerun it again, do a second dial, and then anybody who leaves their name on a voicemail, they get a text. So it's a DDT. I ripped that all from another agent a long time ago. Double dial text. So I liked wrestling, so that kind of resonated with me. DDT. And then I move on to then I'll move on to the new for sale by owners, just so that they hear my voice and they know, like, hey, I'm open, I'm here to help you out. They're probably typically the day one, they're not ready to make a move yet, but I'd like to at least get information from them, let them know I'm here. And if things don't work out, there you are. If things don't work out, in the next 30 days or so, I'd be open to, if they're open to having an appointment, I'd love to stop by and share some information. And then I go back from there to old expireds, meaning expireds a week out. And then I do my for rent by owners. And then from there, I may do a specialty or something like that, like probate or something, or a referral partner, where I'll just go back and do old expires that no one else is doing.
All right. So you're doing a 3-hour call session Monday through Friday, correct? Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
So what's the goal? Like,
yes,
what is
3 hours
one?
Monday through Friday.
Okay. What one goal satisfies you for the day? Well, like there's one goal. Like for me, you know what I mean? It's one appointment and I'm good. 4 appointments a week, I'm good. Like, what's your one goal for the day?
Yeah, if I'm not on an appointment, I need to be looking for an appointment. So if I don't have an appointment that day, I need to constantly hunt for an appointment. That's my number one goal that would satisfy me really well. And if I don't, for any reason, it's a really bad day, lightning is just striking me left and right, as long as I make my 25 contacts, I'm good with that. I know that, and I got like 10 people's email addresses. That's my goal, 10 email addresses a day. And I got them in the database, and now I'm able to start following up and nurturing those people, I'll feel good about that. Not as good as an appointment, but I'll feel pretty good about that too. And that has to be done every day. I don't get really caught up in the busy work. I kind of delegate a lot of that. So that's my number one priority.
Got it. So email addresses, what are you doing with these email addresses once you get them?
Yeah, so I use I have a system that I put them in, and I basically, first of all, I put them in folders throughout Vulcan7, so I knew when to follow up with these people, different months. And if someone's like, hey, I'm 6 months out, I'll put them in a 3-month follow-up folder or something like that. I'll basically send them out information once a month, and I'll make sure that even if they're a long ways away from doing business, I'm following up with them, on a schedule, whether that's once a quarter, once a week, once a month, depending on what they told me. Or when they told me they're anticipating to actually get the property sold.
So, I mean, this is the underlying thing that I hear from you repeatedly over and over and over and over again is follow-up. Am I right?
90%. It's 90. I'd say 90% or stronger. Last year was 90% all in the follow-up.
So you're telling me if you get 100 leads, let's just say 100 leads right off the bat, 10% of those may list with you right away, give or take, right? And the other 90% that you're working on will list with you tomorrow or some point down the road. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say 10% are going to list within the next 60 to 90 days. It may not be right now today, but the other ones are going to list after that 90-day mark. I have a 90-day box that I try to fit them in. But yeah, the other 90% I anticipate to do some form of business with them at some point, whether they end up a buyer or a seller. I mean, I'm listing based, but once in a while I'm working with some buyers too, maybe. So no matter where they end up, we'll do business down the line because I'm in front of them all the time.
So how often with an email are you hitting a particular, so let's say you got me, I'm a seller, I'm the person you just spoke with, okay, they rent by owner. How often are you going to hit me with an email so I can stay top of mind?
If you're for rent by owner, you're getting at least one email a month, and then I'm going to call you once every other month as well. But if we just got off the phone, you said, hey, Tim, I really like the information that you sent me. I'm thinking that might work. Then I'm calling you every day until we get the appointment. I might say, hey, Aaron, you didn't get back to me yesterday. I'm just trying to see when we can meet. I just want to show you that I can sell your property for more right now than you can get in the next 5 years. I don't want you to miss this opportunity.
So what you're trying to tell us is you're aggressive, right?
Yeah, actually, vendors think I'm too aggressive. Some of the vendors are like, man, you're way too aggressive. Just email me. Don't call me anymore. But yeah, I've lost business from not following up too much in the past. I've never lost business from following up too much. From not following up enough. I've never lost business from following up too much. I mean, I remember this one guy. I'll never forget it. I went to his house. We built a ton of rapport. Me, him, his wife was there. And it was in my neighborhood in a spot that I knew what needed to happen to sell this property. And we were talking all the time. And he was like, Tim, just trying to get through the holidays. And I'm going to redo the shower. I talked to him. He said, I'm almost done. He said, but we got family over. And I let it slide for like 3-4 weeks. So I'm like, he has family over. I get that. And I called him and he said, oh my God, I did. I listed with someone else. And I said, what was it about the other agent that I didn't do? Like, I'm just curious. I can take that into my future appointments. And he said, nothing. You might have even been more thorough. He said, he just called us at a good time. He kept calling us more than you did. And he ended up calling us at a time that we were just talking about the night before that we were ready. And I said, I'm never letting that happen again. If someone thinks I'm following up too much, then that'll be the reason I'll lose them.
But I mean, the reality, has anybody ever told you you're too aggressive?
No, the only people are vendors. Like Tim, I got other mortgages I'm writing. Please leave me alone for a little bit.
But
No,
they're
no
not
one's
giving
ever
you
said I'm too aggressive. I've had people say like, man, your follow-up game is strong, or just like, Tim, you're on my caller ID more than my wife, but that's about it. Nothing serious.
That's good, man. All right. Well, let me ask you this. So, let's say you have a brand new agent who's getting into the business. Today's their first day ever. You happen to bump into them in the office and they're like,
Yep.
hi, my name is Aaron. What is one piece of advice you could give me to help me run a successful business?
you need to start telling everybody that you're in business. I have 7 mentees right now that I'm mentoring, and I always advise them to. A couple of them already got Vulcan7. The other ones, their argument is I need to make money first. I said, no, you need to get Vulcan7 to make money. So my advice is to start calling. And a lot of people say don't call expires when you first get in. Call them, fall on your butt, learn how to have the conversations. And then I also tell them one thing I wish I would have done when I first got into business. I wish I would have picked the neighborhood I love the most, or picked a couple of them and circle prospected my butt off and built that pipeline maturity as well, because you have no competition typically with those people. And they're just come list me calls when they are ready. And obviously anyone can build that at any time, but if you're brand new, that's the perfect time to be calling them, letting them know you're in the business, letting them know a listing up the street just sold, and just kind of get in front of those people too. So that's what I'm telling these guys here.
That's amazing. No, that's amazing, my friend. Anything you want to leave us all with today? Last parting words of success.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the first person to ever say this, but mastering repetitious boredom, if you want to be on the listing side of this business, it is going to get mundane. There are days where you don't feel like picking up a phone and really even caring about what someone has to say about their house. But when you step into your office or wherever it is that you're prospecting, at whatever station you're at, you need to enter a cage mentally and just start fighting the fight every day, because that's the only way you're going to build your business. And you can't let other people dictate your schedule. So many people get distracted because these other realtors that you're in deals with, you're servicing, want something right away, and they act like their deal is the only deal that matters. You got to put all that aside, and you've really got to build your business. You just got to be religious to your prospecting time.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely amazing. I got to tell you, thank you so much for coming on today. The for rent by owner stuff, if you guys don't realize, that's gold enough. And then, my friend, if anybody needs to get in touch with you for referrals in Baltimore, Maryland, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, please do so. I have a ton of referral partners all over the country. Just locked in another guy up in York, PA. We're going to be doing sending a lot of business back and forth. My email is Tim@Dominick, and that's DOMINICK, Homes, HOMES.realestate. Phone number is 443-414-8843. I'll take good care of whoever you send my way, I promise.
I really appreciate that. So, guys, if you need anybody in Baltimore, Maryland, this is the guy you message. Otherwise, I want to say thank you guys so much, as always, for popping on Vulcan7 Roadmap, and have an amazing day.